one.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm your host, Mando and welcome back to another episode of the Mind of Mando. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are at work. Your rest of your shift goes amazing. For those who are working graveyard, hope you guys have a good day's sleep. Same thing, different day. Well, kind of. Sitting right here on my couch, watching my kitties asleep. It's funny, they go to sleep, they look like little croissants, you know, especially Peaches, because she's also colored like a croissant, and she's like the smallest out of all of them. How you guys been doing since we last left each other yesterday in the evening? I've been doing pretty good. After I got off, got ready, you know, I edited this real quick, but then I got ready, went to the gym, got a nice pump and everything. And yeah, took a shower, ate some dinner, played some No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. With my buddy. Had to relearn everything. Last time I touched that game was like in the middle of 2020, and apparently had a lot of updates. And the reason I know the last time I played it is because when I logged on, it showed me the date of the last time I logged in. And had to relearn everything. Made me go through the tutorial again. I really have no idea as to why that is. Well, anyways, if you guys are listening to the background music, like, you know, as it was just introduced and everything, is just fast forward it there. Little fact about me that I kind of want to share with you guys is at first I used to be too embarrassed to admit this. But, I mean, like, well, it's been like about 6 years already. Yeah, 6 years. Exactly, because this would happen in July of 2016. Now it's July 2022. Excuse me. So, listening to Skyrim's music, Skyrim's ambiance and everything is, actually, let me change this one. This one's the exploration and everything, the music and ambience, because that one was just ambience. The music and ambience is where it's from and everything. Listen to this. And while you listen to that, I'm cracking up a can of liquid death. You already know. There we go. Oh, refreshing. Well, anyways, excuse me. The thing what I'm talking about is back when I first moved down here of June of 2016. Didn't know anybody, didn't know anything about San Diego. Never even visited San Diego until the day I moved down here. I had this job, I think I spoke about it in the past, that I hated, absolutely hated, and everything, even still do to this day. Fun fact about that. Well, whatever your idea of fun is, every single person from the moment I stopped working that place on up to this day that I have ever met, whether we work together, whether we're just random people speaking to each other in passing or whatever, when we find out that we're security is a very small world despite San Diego County being so big. No matter where I went, whether up North County, South County, East, West, wherever, if I met somebody who also worked security, 80% of the time, they also worked that company that I used to work for. And 100% of the time, no exaggeration, they hated it. Like, all the complaints they had were the ones I had. So it's like, I know it's not just me. Because I enjoyed other places. I just hated that one. What do you call it? Where I was going with this was, Because of the rough times I was facing almost immediately after moving down here, and they seemed to last quite a while and everything, I would be missing home and often contemplating or wondering or just downright admitting to myself that moving to San Diego was a huge mistake that I wish I was able to take back and everything at the time. So, how do you call it? When I would have an hour break, I would go to a random area, super secluded and everything, park there, turn off all my lights and everything, and just take a nap for an hour. So I would just lay my chair back, put an alarm for an hour, and then go to sleep. And I would put either Minecraft, which I have the Minecraft vinyl, or the Skyrim soundtrack, because both of them, especially Skyrim, because me and my sister have a thing that she loves Darkethis. Darkethis is the only Argonian follower that you can get throughout the entire game, unless you have mods. And she was just cool. She liked him a lot. And then we would always joke around about Darkethis and kind of like an inside joke kind of thing. Well, anyways, it would always remind me of either playing Minecraft and my family enjoying it, or Skyrim. And if they happen to be by, they were like, man, this game is nice. Because, my family and me, being raised and everything, they don't like a lot of aggressive or violent stuff. And even though Skyrim is rated M for mature, and it does have violence and decapitations and Suplex City and everything like that, the thing of beauty about the Elder Scrolls games, especially Skyrim, is that when they added the Hearthfire DLC, it was just giving you the ability to adopt. You were already able to get married, but now you could adopt some of the little orphans running in the streets, up to 2. And then you build your own house. You buy property from holds, and you build your own house. And they were like, wow. I was like, look, I own chickens. Oh, look, I own a cow. And then it's just like, oh, my kids are hungry, I better build them a kitchen. It's like they got their own rooms. Look, I made their own little beds and everything like that. My family thought it was fun. So they really liked it. So yeah, so I would lay in the car in my hour break, and I used to work graveyard, so this was dark. This was in the middle of the night, and just take a nap while listening to this, just wishing I can go home and everything, or wishing that I'd stay home. But it's fun looking back at that times, because even though at the moment that was one of the difficult moments that I was going through at the time, where I'm at now makes looking back at that time all the sweeter and all the more grateful for it. It's weird, huh? It's like I'm grateful for struggling. Grateful because I learned lessons, just like everybody else in this world. When you struggle because of the decisions that you make, you learn from them. Or I hope you learn from them, and you make adjustments, you change things, you grow and everything to make sure that you don't ever have to go through that ever again, because it stays with you, especially if it's something as serious as that. Even more stuff after that. And you know what that's called? Hey, it's in a sense, it's accountability. Wow, I did not plan. Accountability is the subject for today, because it was going to kind of be a more serious topic for this episode, but literally I was not gonna start off that way. I was gonna start off about my morning and everything like that, but wow, that was a great segue. I'm sorry, I'm patting myself too much in the back right now. But what do you call it? Yeah, it was accountability for my own actions. Why? Because I decided in just a few months to pack up my stuff and leave. I decided to go to a place where I would have no help if I were to struggle. I decided to work a job that I absolutely hated for the amount of time that I did. I chose to, do all this stuff that just worked against me for the longest time. And I had no one else to blame but myself, because in the end of the day, the only reason I came to San Diego was because I chose to. No one had a gun to my head or anything like that. I chose to do it, and I needed to be accountable for it. And yeah. Well, anyways, why is accountability a topic for today? It's going to be a more serious episode. The reason I'm saying accountability is because a lot more stuff. Well, this has always been the case, but because of the time we live in, technology being something that it's no longer a luxury. It's no longer a phenomenon or anything. Technology is just part of our daily lives. Like imagine this. Imagine going back in time. With our electronics still working. We have a satellite maybe in the 1700s and everything. American Revolution, sending letters that take days and weeks to get to their intended recipient, and then another couple days and weeks until you get a response. Imagine going there and being like, stopping George Washington and be like, "Yo, Georgie boy, you trying to send a letter to who? Paul Revere? Nah, check this." And then someone else is at Paul Revere and being like, "Hey, you want to speak to George Washington? All right, check this." And then you guys just pull out your phones and they can FaceTime together. And they're like, "What? This is happening right now?" "Yeah, say whatever you want." And they're like, "Oh, Paul, what's up?" And then Paul's like, "George, this is wild, man." It's like, what? I don't know what I'm saying. Well, anyways, the point is, technology in our days isn't even a second thought. It's just part of our daily lives. When back in the day, everything that we have now is just wasn't even feasible. It wasn't even like back then. Sending letters out by like courier on a horse or wagon or whatever, what was the latest way to contact people. Now it's literally picking up our phones, opening an app, and just calling them. That's it. They can be like, I can open up my phone right now, talk to my family in less than 30 seconds, and they're all the way back home in SF. Or if I knew somebody over in like China or something, you could do the same exact thing. You have Omegle, that website that connects you with anybody else using Omegle around the world. Give me 1 second. The point I'm trying to make is, because of technology connecting us all at any given moment, anywhere in the world, people always record themselves doing stuff, always document themselves doing stuff, always, whether good intentioned or not, always have to let the world know what they're doing and everything. And it could be a good thing. It could be a nice thing. Also, it could be something so dumb. And when people do dumb stuff, you would be like, "Hey, listen, you did something that was dumb. You were wrong." And they're like, "Oh, you're right. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'll get better. I won't do this again. I'm sorry." "All right, cool. Thanks." But no, sometimes people just don't know what accountability is. And they always fall back on, the same old excuses. Same excuses. I have a couple examples, and I'll talk about them in depth and everything. One is, I don't know if you guys ever heard about this woman back in 2021. It was pretty big news. It came out in multiple news outlets. People were talking about it and everything like that. 2021. What's her name? Casey Garcia. You guys ever heard of Casey Garcia? Casey Garcia is I believe a 33-year-old woman. She is a mother and everything. 4'11" though. That's really small. It's really, really small. Anyways, she's 4'11". Casey Garcia has a daughter who is 13 and in middle school. One day, and this really, remember, this is 2021. This is like when COVID wasn't at its peak. It was steadily declining in people's minds and everything. But it was still, a thing. Schools were back in sessions, but there were still rules people had to follow. So 2021, Casey Garcia has a 13-year-old daughter who is in middle school. One day, Casey, maybe this is a mother. I don't know if she works. I haven't dug into her personal life like that. But if she had time to, I don't know, do what she did, then probably she's a stay-at-home mother. I don't know. Anyways, Casey Garcia decided one day it would be funny if she dressed herself up as her daughter and decided to go to school pretending to be her daughter. And here's the thing. Remember how I said just a few minutes ago that this was when schools were back in session, but with rules? Well, one of the rules, the main rule actually, being that everybody had to wear masks. So everybody had to wear masks. So 4'11" Casey Garcia wore a baggy sweater, her other clothes, a backpack, always had her hood up, tried to do her makeup to make herself look younger and everything, and always wore a mask. Always wore a mask and everything. And then she went off. She went off to her daughter's school, posing as a 13-year-old and everything. She was documenting everything. Keep that in mind. She was documenting everything for TikTok because, you know, TikTok is home of the most intelligent people on the planet. And how do you say it? She went to her daughter's classes. Throughout the time, when she was documenting everything in the classrooms, at lunchtime, outside, etc., in the hallways, you heard people speaking to her and everything, just like possibly catching on to what she's doing. Well, after Casey Garcia finished with the school day and came back home, she decided to make a follow-up video explaining everything, being like, yeah, I snuck into I posed as my 13-year-old daughter, went to all her classes. Her friends found out that I was her mom and everything, but thank you to them because they started helping me, you know, find out where her classes were and who her teachers were and everything and yada yada, you know. And it's just like there was moments where some of the teachers were suspecting me and everything, but you know, I just kept moving, yada yada, you know, all this stuff. So basically what she's saying is her daughter's friends found out almost immediately, very likely, that I can't speak English, I'm sorry, that Casey Garcia wasn't the daughter. It was the mom and everything. And she admitted that some of the teachers were becoming very suspicious of her, whether or not she was actually the daughter and everything. So yeah, so that's what it is. She wrote that off as a success. This is why social media and people who use it need to really think about what they're posting up before they actually do it for clout. Everybody wants their 15 seconds of fame, but sometimes you'll get that fame, it just won't be the fame you want. So I'm positive Casey Garcia most likely just went like, oh, ha, you know, this is gonna be funny. People are gonna be like, wow, that's crazy. She's wild. She did that, you know, because that's the how do you call it? The vibe that was being placed out throughout the entire time. Like, oh my God, I'm being so sneaky. Holy crap, I'm almost getting caught. Oh my God, I'm not caught. Yada yada. Like, I did it. Woo, you know. And yeah, how do you say it? Here's the thing. I'm glad people pointed out that was dumb what she did and everything. So she started receiving backlash. At one point, she came out with a video, and I believe this is before, you know, a huge thing that happens to her. She came out with a video explaining why she did it and everything. People like this only make these type of videos as to why they do something that's deemed controversial and dumb, because they're trying to save face and try to make people believe that they're like, oh, it was for an understandable reason, yada yada. She was saying that she did it as a social experiment. That's just the thing to fall back on for everybody who gets caught doing dumb things. It's a social experiment. It's to raise awareness and everything. Why? This is my plan from the start. It's to raise awareness. I wanted to pose as my 13-year-old daughter and go to all her classes and have her friends help me hide and try and keep the teachers from being suspicious of me and catching me in the act and everything, because I wanted to raise awareness because of the security, the lack of security in these schools, the lack of being careful, the lack of attentiveness. I wanted people to know that they need to get better, because these are our kids, and with all these mass shootings and everything, these are our kids that need to be protected. And my daughter's schools just showed me that they don't know the difference between me and my daughter. And it's like, no, that wasn't the reason. And that's why I said earlier, this is what the vibe that's being given throughout the entire stuff. She wasn't giving the vibe of like, okay guys, listen, I just got into the school, nobody's checked me yet or anything like that. If I was just somebody who decided to have ill intent in here, this is very likely how it's going to go for them also. It wasn't anything like that. Nothing. What it was like, oh my god, her friends are helping me hide. Oh my god, teachers were almost suspicious of me. Oh, luckily I kept walking, yada yada, you know. It's like, hey, I'm just going to keep my hoodie on and just eat lunch. No, come on, Casey. But yeah, so that's what she did, and she released that video trying to save face. Didn't work, not at all. People saw right through it. But here's the thing, later on she got arrested. Police came to her house because she had 2 warrants issued out for her. 2 warrants. What were those warrants for? First one, most obvious one, was because she was posing as a 13-year-old and went inside of a middle school filled with kids while she was 33 years old. All right. Another reason was due to an unrelated traffic ticket. That was it. 1 second. Oh man, Skyrim's just beautiful. The Skyrim music. So yeah. So she got arrested. I think she posted bail or something like that. But she got arrested. She went to jail. She got booked and everything. Her mugshots on the internet. You can see it yourself. So yeah. But that was her reason. 2 ways around it. You see, I can't speak English. Jesus. And it's the same problem. Because look, this is a little sidetrack type of thing. Sometimes I can't speak English because I either have too many words going on in my head at once that I want to say, or I just can't think of the word I want to say. I know what I want to say, but I can't say it. Or sometimes it's hard for me to pronounce a word. It's hard. Believe me, it's hard to pronounce some words. For a while, I couldn't even say the word sort, S-O-R-T. I couldn't say the word sort for a while, because I just immediately wanted to say short, and I would have to enunciate, basically, like, excuse me, say the word slowly for the word sort to come out. Another one of my old friends from high school, he went up to all the Latinos and said, hey, say 3 without rolling your R's. And I was like, 3. No, say 3 without rolling your R's. 3. And he's like, no, you're rolling your R's. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's 3. And he goes, no, you're saying 3. Say 3 and everything. And it was difficult because you gotta understand, to roll your R's, you kind of roll your R's through the tip of your tongue and the roof of your mouth, like 3 and everything. Revolucion. That's how you say it. And that's the way my tongue moves. Because, you know, speaking Spanish and all that stuff. But if you want to say the letter R or go and everything, you have to use the back of your throat. Like it has to come from your throat, not just the tip of your tongue. So it's 3. But for a while, I could only, if I didn't want to say the number 3 without rolling my R's, for a while, it would just come out as 3, because it was hard transition. I practice. I'm able to say 3 now, but it's more comfortably just to say 3 with rolling my R. So yeah, that was it. But right now it's just bear with me with the words and everything. So yeah, this dishwasher behind me because, you know, we have too many dishes that we wash in this house. Anyways, sorry about that. What was I saying? See, I lose track about stuff. All right, Casey Garcia. All right, I'm almost finished with her. So yeah, that was her whole thing, social experiment, and everything like that. Second story, and I'm gonna circle back to Casey Garcia later on. Second story, Danielle Cohn. I don't know if any of you guys know who she is. I had no idea who Danielle Cohn was until this year. And I don't know if this controversy happened back in 2019, but it was so insignificant to me at the time that it was just like I had no idea about it until 2022. So yeah. So basically in 2019, Danielle Cohn had an Instagram, from what I'm remembering, had social media, was posting up photos of herself, video of herself. Thing is, she was doing photos and videos in the style of a grown woman and everything, of what a grown woman would do. You have somebody like that who is looking like a grown woman, acting like a grown woman, behaving like a grown woman, posting up photos and videos like a grown woman. You're gonna have a lot of people going and giving her attention, and that's exactly what happened. The problem, though, was that people were finding out that Danielle Cohn in 2019 was only 13 years old. That was below the age limit that you needed to be, or the age requirement you needed to be to have an Instagram account and everything. The problem with that was that, she lied. You know, they're not going to require you to take a picture of your ID or anything like that. Well, at least not yet, from what I know of, in order to start an account or anything. But people were like, hey, she's 13. No, she's 13. Danielle Cohn, and here's the worst part about it. It wasn't just Danielle Cohn who was trying to lie about her own age, saying that she was 15, not 13. Her mother was doing the same exact thing. Her mother was also lying about her own daughter's age because the mother wanted that sweet money and everything. So imagine that, parents that just, sell out your own kids for cash. And no wonder kids grow up hella screwed up if they're young stars. Except Hillary Duff. Hillary Duff's perfect. Well, anyways. So Danielle Cohn, she was lying about her age. Her own father, him and the mother were never married and who are separated, were saying, I hated social media for my daughter when she was like 8-9 years old or something like that. It's like, I hated what it was doing to her. I hated that this was her life, yada yada. She is only 13 years old and everything. And people are like, look, even your own dad is saying you're only 13. She posted something up saying like, look, I need this to do stuff. You can't lie on this. You need to provide ID. This says I'm 15 years old. Why would I lie to you guys? I would never lie, yada yada. Even though people who say that just, automatically lie and everything. And people were all like, you can fake that, right? Like, yeah, they required you to have ID. I think it was a worker's permit. I'm not sure. It's like, yeah, they required you to have ID. But if you don't have ID, all you need is a legal guardian or parent to lie for you and everything. And it's like, what? Yeah. It's like your mom, who's already been caught lying for her daughter, could lie saying that you're 15 when you're not, And then through the internet detective power worker things, whatever, they found an old YouTube account that was run by the mother of Danielle Cohn, where one of the videos she introduced her daughter in the description as my recently turned 9-year-old Danielle Cohn, and it has the video of Danielle Cohn introducing herself as Danielle Cohn and everything. So what do you call it? When was that video taken? I think 2015. Yeah, 2015. That video came out in 2015. Description said, hey, my 9-year-old and everything like that. 2015, 4 years later, 2019. I mean, that's 13. That's 13 years old in 2019. And people were pointing it out to the mother, and the mother was still denying it. And I'm like, no, what? This is the proof. And you're still denying it. And the mother says something that is always, it's just as bad as, hey, I would never lie. She goes, hey, believe me, if that was me, don't you think I would have deleted it? And it's just like, people go like, oh, I know I said it early in the video, but that was genuine. This is just, you were already caught lying before, and now you're being like, believe me, that wouldn't be mine. Yeah, no. Well, anyways, the whole reason I bring Danielle Cohn up, I know that was the whole thing, is because she also did something, I think this year actually, if I'm not mistaken. She is now 16 years old, or it was last year, I think, because this happened when she was legitimately 15. Now she's 16. She announced that she was pregnant in a photo and everything on Instagram. She announced that she was pregnant. She announced that her boyfriend at the time, I don't know if they're going out, I don't care about 15-year-olds' lives. It's just popped up. It's funny. I was like, oh my God, we're having a baby together. We're going to be a mom and dad. This and that. And the mother was supportive about it. It was like, what the hell? My mom was always like, Armando, mira, si embarazas a una mujer, ya te vas de la casa. Encuentras trabajo, got un lugar para vivir, te vas de la casa, and everything. And I was like, which is like, Armando, if you get any girl pregnant, you're leaving the house, you're going to get a job, find a place to live, you're leaving the house, and everything. So, yeah, my mom's old school. I don't hate her for it. I love her. And she had a reason. But yeah. So, how do you call it? What was I saying? Oh yeah. So it was like, and her mother was supporting it, and it's just like, dude, what the hell? This is new school parenting. It's like, I swear, money blinds everybody. But what was it? Yeah. So they're going off and everything like that, posting the pictures, videos, etc., being like, yeah, we're gonna go and how do you say it? Have a baby shower. What names should we name our kid? Yada yada. This is that. All excited for the new baby at 15 years old. It was later, or fairly quickly, proven that she was lying about the pregnancy. Everybody was lying about the pregnancy. And it was just like, wow, you're lying about this. And, being backed up to a corner, having absolutely no more excuses to make. Of course, she was like, it was fake. It was fake. I did it because why? Do you guys want to take a quick guess? I'm going to take another drink. Guess what the reason was for lying. It's a wild guess. Liquid is so good. Excuse me. Okay. Reason, and I'm positive you guys guessed it, was social experiment to raise awareness about what? Teen pregnancy. It's like, this is just to raise awareness about teen pregnancy and the rise of teen pregnancy, yada, 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 and all that stuff. And it's like, again, if you're gonna, look, people who wanted to raise awareness of teen pregnancy, there was an entire show about it, I think on ABC Family. Let me look up. I used to watch that show. I'm not gonna lie. I actually was into it in the beginning when it was still about teen pregnancy. Hold on. My teenage robot. Teenage pregnancy shows. Okay. I used to watch it when I was young with my sisters. I think it was this one. The Secret Life of an American Teenager. Was it? Damn it. Show me the cast, you losers. I'm sorry. I'm just looking it up right now. Yep, that's one. My Secret Life, or The Secret Life of an American Teenager. was a show about a girl who was still in high school and got pregnant, and the struggles of being pregnant while a teenager in high school and everything. Yeah, they had to take liberties because they had to make the show interesting. And yeah, eventually the baby had to pop out and they still wanted to rake in as much money as possible. But that was the premise of the show. And it did it infinitely better because it was actually having the message of, hey, listen, this is what happens when you're pregnant as a teenager. And I think almost every episode ended with a personal message from the main star stating like, hey, listen, teenage pregnancy is a serious thing. You know, talk to your doctors, talk to your parents, talk to anybody you need to talk to about the reality of teenage pregnancy. And it was a message for the youngsters. And, you know, yeah, teenage pregnancy still was happening. But, you know, that was an example. That's an example of a show that was actually trying to raise awareness of teenage pregnancy and showing how it can go when you're pregnant and how nobody is obligated to cater to you outside of not even your immediate family. Just, you know, how harsh everybody can be when reality happens. So, yeah. But this girl, Danielle Cohn, was like, oh, raise awareness of teenage pregnancy. It's like, hey, your videos didn't reflect that. Because your videos are like, oh, I'm excited. What should we name our baby? Oh, our baby shower. Yeah, you know, this and that. It's just like, you're lying, dude. You're lying. Just tell the truth. Anyway, circle back to her again. Now we have an example.
So I'm not dead. So first and foremost, I want to say sorry if I scared y'all. I mean, that was my intent, but like not like this. Second off, I want to say to Chef P, sorry if this scared you at all or impacted your business in any way. That was never my intent. The opposite, actually. This was meant to be a full social experiment to see how quickly other people could spread misinformation. So we're going to get into like what I did and what I observed later, but first we need to go through everything.
You know what I find annoying? That when it's mainly in TikTok, this is actually exclusively in TikTok, how when somebody wants to play somebody else's video, somebody else's content and everything like that, because they have absolutely no creativity themselves, what they do is one of two things. One, what they call duet the video, which is one side of the screen is them just like doing something stupid like fake typing on a keyboard or writing or like eating or something like that, you know? And then they just look at the camera and make faces like, oh, you hear what that person said? Oh, you heard that? Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, this and that. Oh, what? What? You know? It's dumb. They don't add nothing except being a nuisance. Or they do the second thing, which is they still don't say anything, but they make gestures while putting the original video in the background, and they're just floating everywhere in the screen, just pointing at stuff like, oh, you heard that? Oh, you know? And it's just stop. You're boring. It's like, make original stuff. Or give your own take and stuff, you know? Like, if there's a hot topic like the pink sauce, which is what this is about, make your own video about it, you know? Or just be like, hey, yo, check out this video. This is right, you know? Or that's it. But it's just like, make your own stuff. Stop being annoying. You're talentless. I hate you. Well, anyways, how do you call it? Yeah, so that's basically what the video is. Basically what this guy, I'm sure you guys hear about it and everything. Basically what this guy did was, you know how the pink sauce thing came out this past week and everything. I made 2 videos about it already. This guy decided to do something dumb and fake his own death as a joke. You know, he decided to fake his own death. Make everybody believe he died. Of course, people were like, oh my God, is he dead? People were rightfully so, rightfully so, freaking out. And then it was discovered that no, he's still alive and well. He's not dead. So people got mad. Understandably, they said, what the hell? Why are you playing like that? Yeah. You know? So instead of being like, hey, you know, it was a joke. It was meant to be a joke. I'm sorry. yada yada, you know, for freaking you guys out. And then just left it at that. Fool decided to be like, it was a social experiment. It was to raise awareness. A social experiment. Oh my god, these people. It's just like, you know, because of this stuff, the dangers of unrefrigerated things that contain milk. And it's just like, why, you know? Like, I spoke in the other two videos that this girl, if she doesn't cease production immediately and do a refund or whatever until she gets stuff FDA approved, which is a funny thing because she released an update where she said that why does she need to be FDA approved since she's not selling medical products and the pink sauce isn't a medical product. The F in FDA stands for food. She knows that now. People were spamming her chat, her live and everything. Be like, yo, the F in FDA is food. You know, apparently she just thought it was something medical. But yeah. So until she works out everything, gives refunds and or a free product to the people who already bought it, even though not many people bought it. Like, from everything, from all the publicity, only 700 people bought it out of everybody who's heard about it. That's not really big numbers, you know. But until she figures out everything, you know, I was saying there's a chance that somebody can get sick and or lose their life, or a loved one can get sick and or lose their life, or suffer some damage, some permanent damage somehow. She will face lawsuits, like a lot of lawsuits. But how do you call it? Pretending to die for clout and then getting called out on it and then trying to hide it as a social experiment. You're not helping this woman's case. You know, you're not. That's dumb. Why do people think that's funny? It's like, I love humor and everything. I love some dark jokes, trust me, even of my own kind. Come on. People make fun of Guatemalans for being hella short, and it's true. Guatemalans hella short. But what do you call it? It's just like, this kind of a double whammy. Not only are you doing a fake joke, not fake joke, a joke about dying in the most sensitive era we've ever lived in, you're also indirectly or directly actually harming someone else's reputation more than what it is now. And it's like, bro, just think before you do stuff. And then in another pink sauce related stuff, I found out that you know, because the whole pink sauce stuff started getting criticism, what I found out was there's some people who want to bring race into this and everything. How? Well, the pink sauce chef lady, she made this, has no direct recipe. To this day, doesn't tell you exactly everything that's in there or even how it tastes like. People who've tried it just can't describe it. They don't know what it tastes like because they just don't know what it is, you know? But people were like, with all these videos coming out criticizing this, some people are like, oh man, people expect black business owners to be flawless, expect them to be perfect from the jump and nothing less, this and that. It's like, look, no, everybody loves small businesses and want to see them succeed. I love small businesses. I support them a lot, you know? But as long as they're selling products that they know for a fact will not harm anybody's health, that will not just be a waste of money and everything, and they show that they want to improve from the already positive or negative criticisms, it's like, that's not racism. That's just criticism, you know? And she faced criticism. And I don't think she personally did this, the creator of the sauce, but other people were saying, oh, it's because no one wants to see a black woman succeed. No one wants to see anybody who's black move up, yada, yada. And it's just like, this is coming from everybody, from every race, every gender, from every part of the world, saying stop because what you're getting out is not what people are receiving. The colors change, the textures change, things arrived broken, busted, rotten, moldy, everything. And people are like, hey, maybe you should get FDA approved, find perfect packaging, and then start selling it before this continues. And people are like, oh, you don't want to see a black woman succeed. All right, well, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Valid criticism isn't racist. It's not. So, you can stop with all that. Everybody receives criticism. Absolutely everybody, in the face of everything. It's like, think about it. Disney faces criticism. Marvel faces criticism. DC faces criticism. All these major corporations, these major brands receive criticism. And guess what? They're still moving forward. So if they receive criticism, why shouldn't small businesses receive criticism? That's just what it is. You're selling something that appeals to others, but if it doesn't deliver what it said it was going to deliver, it's open for criticism. And that's just how business works. That's just how life works in general. So yeah. How do you say it? Two more. This one's going to be very, very quick. Last episode, that one woman who was arguing with the bus driver in Chicago, I believe, and she ended up putting her hands on him, which are shown from two separate videos. Then she put her hands on him first, and then he came out, uppercutted her, grabbed her, threw out the bus, and then later on she was given an interview, and then when she was saying, oh, poor me, boo-hoo, why would they do that, why would a man do that to a woman, yada yada, and then the interview was like, hey, what do you say about the videos that show you putting your hands on him first? And she was like, oh, I'm not going to talk about that, my lawyer said not to talk about that. Her and Brittany Renner, for those who don't know, Brittany Renner, I think, made last year made super headlines because she's a thought. She's a gold digging thought. And my buddy, I remember one episode, I was like, what does that mean? He just messaged me out of nowhere. It means that hoe over there. And I'm like, oh, for sure. Well, anyways, she's a gold digging thought. This guy's dumb too. So there was this college basketball player or NBA player, whatever, barely got a contract and everything. He's super young, like 20, 21 or something. She hit him up. They met. They smashed. She got pregnant. Now she's drying him out from all his money because she wants money. She came out saying like, "Oh, men are dumb. just use him for the money. And he doesn't have money. Just go to someone else, And then she came out with going to a university campus and posted a picture of herself on social media, being like, "Mothers, hide your sons," and everything like that. And then came out with a book also saying the same exact thing, to just use guys for money because guys need to be used and everything. That's it. Well, anyways, she now has a kid, and she came out with a video a couple months ago stating that she was broke and living in her car, or her car repoed, and she's living with her mom or whatever. And it's just, people are making fun of her, and people are just like mocking her, and people are saying, good, you deserve this, you deserve that, and everything. And I just saw a video right now where she's arguing with somebody at a venue or something like that, and then she throws water at that guy, and he throws his water back at her, and then she gets pulled away to get to safety, and then like somebody else tries to grab him, like, oh, how dare you do that to her, and then it's just like a bunch of simps, dude. It's just like dude, she's not gonna smash you because you got no money. It's like, just chill. But how do you call it? So what do all these people have in common? Casey Garcia, Daniel Cohn, the guy who faked his death, the pink sauce lady, the woman who got uppercutted in the bus, and Brittany Renner. All 6 people, what do they have in common? They were doing something dumb. They were called out for it, overwhelmingly called out for it, and they came out saying that it was a social experiment. Well, mine and Brittany Renner. So 5 people. Brittany Renner was just a thought. So 5 people. They all just started saying it was a social experiment, to raise awareness for XYZ. And they all did the same thing. Did not take accountability. They did not. And that's part of the reason why it seems like every day we just breed dumber and dumber people. Taking accountability, it's just, you ever heard about that phrase, take your lumps? Just take your lumps. I mean, like, you got to take your lumps because it's just, you screwed up, all right? You screwed up. We all screw up. We're not perfect. We're just human. And that's just part of our lives. I screwed up in the past. We've all done cringy stuff that we can be getting ready for bed and all of a sudden our brain's like, hey, remember what you did like decades ago? That stupid stuff when you were a kid and everything. And you're just like, oh, great. You know? And it was just like, hey, remember you got in trouble with this? Hey, remember we got in trouble with that? For me, what was it? Some cringy stuff I did when I was a kid was in my own house. I asked my own mother if I could use the bathroom. And I'm like, why did I do that? I could have just used the bathroom. No one was in there. And I was just like, I remembered it last night. I was like, what the hell? You know? It's, what do you call it? My buddy who moved to Wyoming. Like, what is it? What is it that he's done? He's just whack in general, and he sucks at Smash, and he somehow convinced himself that he's really good at Smash Bros. And no one could beat him. You know, that's cringy as hell. He's gonna hate me when he hears this. Oh, excuse me. Oh man, I love the song Secunda. I can play it on my guitar, trust me. There you go, trust me. I'll post up a video of doing it when I have the chance. So anyways, everybody is imperfect. Everybody does cringy stuff. Everybody screws up, whether majorly or minor. People are not perfect. People are bound to make mistakes. People are bound to say bad things. And it's just, you got to take accountability for it. That's just how life goes. For example, me, I started this podcast. I talk about anything I want to talk about. I talk about nerdy stuff. You guys seen episodes purely dedicated to Assassin's Creed, Star Wars, or other video games and comics and everything like that. Another one's going to come out pretty soon. But then you see me talking about recreational stuff like cooking, playing music, skating, etc., etc. But then you guys hear me talk about personal things, just like in the beginning of this podcast episode or other times. I know I've said controversial stuff already, and even though I only have 8 subscribers as of now and everything, if one day down the road I have enough people who decide to listen to my stuff, I'm bound to have the first one listen to one of my episodes where I'm talking about my personal experiences, talking about how it's dumb to think that there is absolutely one group of people who can be nothing more than victims and can't be blamed for anything that they do, when mine personal experience shows the exact opposite. And everything. And it's just like, I know I can say controversial stuff, and guess especially in this day and age when I say I'm pro law enforcement, even though I still call them out for their crap, it's like one day this is going to be called out, and when that day comes, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I said it. You're right, I said it. I did it, and I don't regret it, because that's how I felt at the time. But yeah, how do you call it? So it's important to take accountability. No matter how severe or how light things are, it's important to take accountability because it shows growth. Not just shows growth for other people to see, but it shows growth within yourself. We realize that we screw up. We realize that we mess up. We realize that we made a mistake and everything like that. It helps us grow as a person. Lets us view things in a different perspective, even though they stay in our head forever unless we get Alzheimer's. It just shows that every day we make moves to try and improve ourselves, to try and improve things around us. And yeah, and that's just what it is, you know. It's like, it's important to take accountability. In the end of the day, whatever you do, if you do something dumb and people see it and call you out for it, people aren't going to make videos about it. They're just going to make videos about it. That's just a given. The faster you realize that videos are going to be made about you, even after you take accountability, the faster it's just gonna be over. That's just what it is. That's how it works. If you do something like, what was her name? I already forgot her name. Casey Garcia. If Casey Garcia was like, hey guys, yeah, I did that. I did it for fun, you know? People would have been like, oh, look at her. She did this. She still would have been arrested. But then guess what? People would have just stopped talking about it. People would have been like, yeah, well, you know, yeah, that happened. Cool. But no, because now she had to come out being like, it was a social experiment. People are like, yeah, right. Stop lying, you know? And then more videos come out. But yeah. Well, anyways, how do you call it? You remember those old cigarette commercials? When, like, yeah, I remember the disturbing one with the lady who had a hole in her throat, and she was like, I started smoking at 13 years old, or whatever, how old she was. I smoked regularly, and now I have to talk like this. You know? It's just like, and that commercial traumatized me. You know? it's like, ooh, yeah, let me not pick up a ciggy. But yeah, it's just like, I wish we had more commercials like that, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't had a cable TV in like over a decade, so I don't even know if those commercials still exist. So I'm just going to finish this up. This morning was very nice, you know. My cats threw up a lot, so that was gross to pick up. But, how do you call it? You know what I did? For a while, I've been wanting to move up in skateboard size. I always rode a 7.5 deck. And I've been thinking about moving to an 8 or maybe an 8.5 deck and everything. I keep forgetting that I have a second skateboard that I found and everything. There's this skateboard skate shop by like a few blocks from where I live. Excuse me. Called Slappy's Garage. It's one of their decks, so it's quality. It has Thunder trucks, and just yesterday, I removed their old bearings and replaced them with Reds. And, you know, because when I rode it initially, it was so slow. It was so heavy. The bearings suck. They barely move. So I was like, hey, switch them with Reds. Fix everything up, you know? It's going to be faster now. I rode it this morning, and holy crap, the difference. And here's the thing. Like I said, I'm used to riding a 7.5. I have Bronson bearings. I have Venture trucks, and I have Richter Cloud wheels and everything. Those are soft wheels with fast bearings and very light trucks in a 7.5. I am now riding an 8 with Thunder trucks, even though Thunder trucks are still relatively light. Reds, which, you know, are pretty fast. And, how do you call it? I don't know. Oh yeah, Slappy brand, Slappy's Garage wheels and everything. What I didn't realize is those wheels, because I ride soft wheels with my other board. These Slappy's Garage wheels are hard. They're not soft like my other ones. They're hard. So when I put it on the floor and I kicked off and everything, oh my god, I was just able to feel the difference. The deck is wider, so now I have more room for my feet. But it's heavier. And those hard wheels, honestly, it took more power to kick off. And I knew I had to get used to it because I was able to feel it a lot more in my legs and stuff. But I just had to get used to it. The Reds really made a little bit more of a difference, but not too much. And I realized if I want to make this move, if I want to make a transition to a bigger deck, I'm gonna have to just keep riding this one regularly. And so that's what I'm gonna do, you know, start riding it to and from work and stuff like that. The last board I had that was an 8.5 was when I was 14 years old, and I had that skateboard, the Jackalope from Element. It was a Chad Muska limited edition one. I wish I still had it, but I only had it for a few months before it was stolen. There's one on eBay, and I want to buy it and everything, but you know, I just gotta make the funds for it. So yeah, so now that was the last one I had, and I had that when I was 14. Now I'm 28. That was 14 years ago, you know, and so this is still pretty new to me. Other than that, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm going to the store right now because I want to make a rosemary bread. If you guys ever had rosemary bread, you owe it to yourself to have some rosemary bread. I'm serious. Do yourself a favor. It is a delicious, nice, fluffy, somewhat crispy bread. It is absolutely delicious. So delicious. And yeah, I have all the pans. I just need some few ingredients. And I'm off to make it. And thank you guys for sitting. This is a lot. This is like, I'm almost hitting an hour, 1 minute. It's probably going to be an hour, 1 hour, 2 minutes when I finish editing. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Mind of Mando. I have been your host, Armando Ortega. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See you.